Today we're joined by Selina. She is a model by profession. She's Japanese, although she's a mix. That means that her father is British and her mother is Japanese. Now, especially in this past few years, the mixed people from mixed couples have been quite growing in numbers. And but they have a very particular life, as it's quite different. They're growing up. If you compare with the, let's say, 100% Japanese person, they have some challenges, and we're going to talk about those challenges while growing up, especially, and that's why we call Selina. Selina, welcome. And so my first question would be just out of curiosity, like when did you actually realize that you were a mix, that when you were in your class in Japan, there were 100% Japanese classmates, and you were somewhat different.
I think I realized it when I was 6 that my family we moved town, so I had to change school. So I joined elementary school, then we moved to other school. Then in new school, the first day I had to stand in front of everyone in the classroom. And teacher said, "Hi, this is Selina, like she's new, please help her if she needs help." Then, everyone was staring at me. I still remember that kids, faces. Then I think I realized I looked so different, or I must look different, because they looked so surprised.
I see. So this is interesting. So the first thing that when you realized, there was the reaction of the people that you had in front of you, so your classmates.
Yeah.
So you were telling me that the reaction was of awe. They were like contemplating you. What was their actual reaction? Were they making sounds like the Japanese? You make these sounds all like, you know what I'm talking about, right?
No, we were kids, so they just said, "Ah, she's a foreigner." Like, we have a foreigner. I
They
remember
actually
that.
said, "Oh, gaikokujin." They actually said.
Yes.
Oh, I see. And how did you feel that when you heard that?
I was nervous, but I kind of knew they were going to react. Maybe I wasn't surprised, but I was nervous because I even had like some kids coming from other classroom to see me. They pointed at me and they actually said, "Ah, that's a foreign girl." So yeah, I was 6, but I remember well.
Very, very interesting. And so I suppose there were not many mixed people in that school or in that class.
No, I was the only one in the class. And in whole school, just my brothers, me, and I think there were like 2 Brazilians mixed, but that's it.
But after that, I mean, how did it get? I mean, did you see that also the way that you made friendship with the other classmates was different? Was there a different treatment? Was there a different way they talked to you? Was there more interest or less interest? Could you please take us there?
No, I think it didn't really affect to make friends. They treated me normal. Then I was very small. Like in elementary school, it was quite comfortable. And also because I went to a school in a countryside, like a really deep countryside. So I was unusual for them, but they were quite nice. Kids were growing up in a warm family, like they were pure. So, but yeah, for the first year, I think I was a little bit bullied by the old ones. Sometimes they threw me something, or they said, "Hey, foreigner, like go back to your country," or something like this. But my big brother always protected me, so that was fine.
Like, I mean, it's weird that somebody calls you foreigner when you know that you're not, and everybody, I guess, knows that, except your appearance. So this is the thing, right? So except your appearance, you're not a foreigner, and they knew you were not a foreigner. So how was your internal reaction? Did you start thinking, "Oh, am I really a foreigner?" Or were you still like hanging on the idea that no, I mean, I'm Japanese as all the other people here?
I never felt like I'm Japanese. I didn't never think that I was Japanese. Maybe because I don't know. That's because people didn't treat me as Japanese, or when people said foreigner to me, I just didn't feel like they were saying the wrong thing. I just thought, yeah, right, I'm a foreigner.
When you brought this meta home, because I guess you must have talked to your parents, either your father or your mother, and did you have that conversation with them, and what did they tell you?
My dad is British, so obviously he has a lot of like similar experiences, so he understands me very well. And also my mom, she really tried hard to make me fit in Japan and help my life, and they're very supportive. But what they told me was when they decided to live in Japan with, with us, and they thought Japan would change in 20 years, that they would not worry about the mixed people, they would stop asking questions. But they said they didn't expect that Japan didn't, change. But they were surprised. Yeah. But I think my mom was trying to make me act like more like Japanese. I think she thought that the way to protect me. So she told me to have a good manner, like be nice to people and act like Japanese, then I will be accepted in school. I think I never really said until I became like 15 or 16. I never really said. Because
Okay, so let's go there. So what happened when you got 14 and 15? What really happened?
like I had a really hard time in junior high school because I had the bullying got a bit worse. Like people were writing things on my textbook. So some people took my shoes and, it was getting a bit more serious. I had to tell my parents because I had to ask them to buy new stuff. And also, like, I was quite quiet and I couldn't really talk back. And I got like ignored by classmates and stuff too. So I didn't say it till the graduation, but I was keeping in myself. Then when I finished junior high school, I just asked my parents, like I said, I want to leave this area. I want to go abroad. I want to go to a school very far from my school. First, I tried to go to school in UK because I wanted to leave Japan, but it didn't happen. Somehow I chose the Japanese high school, which has an English course. Then I thought if I study English more, then I can speak it better, then I can leave after. So yeah, in the end, I went to a public high school with English course. And there was other mixed people and also other, students from other countries too. And people were very open, very they accepted me. And I started to feel better. But the biggest reason was I went to Spain for 1 year to live when I was 20 to study Spanish. Then people treated me as a normal person. Like no one asked me where you're from, are you mixed, or you don't look Japanese, or they just said, what's your name? What do you like to do? And this was so new to me. And how this experience changed my thinking. I think because I was accepted, I became happy after.
So you after that experience, you saw your being mixed as nothing so special. Like you basically accepted your identity and it made it easier when you came back to Japan as well?
Just after that, it was even harder to come back to Japan because, for me, my life in Japan was so normal before. It was hard, but I was used to it. Then once I was in Spain, then I knew I was really happy. Then I came back and I had all this, are you Japanese, or your Japanese is good, and all this treatment again. Then I felt, I have to deal with this again. But then maybe I didn't mention, but after I started to study psychology and now I work as a counselor too. So then I also started talking about my experiences to other people. Then little by little I got over it.
Right. And this is interesting. So you basically started going to schools. I'm curious, when you talked in schools and do you have any memories of reactions from kids, from students, from anybody that came to you and said, oh, look, I have the same problem?
The Japanese kids, Japanese kids, they came to me and said, when they say to mixed friends, oh, your Japanese is good, or you don't look Japanese, they said they didn't want to hurt them, but they were saying it without knowing that they're hurting them.
Mm.
So they're saying like, oh, I learned something, now I can change my attitude or change what I say to the mixed people. So I felt the kids really change after I talk. And also the mixed kids, they usually come up to me and say, oh, thank you for saying that, what I wanted to say, but they're too shy to open up and say what they feel or how they feel. So I'm speaking instead of them.
Talking with other mixed people, it's weird. There's a mixed reaction, but some people say it could be an advantage being in Japan as a mixed
Yeah.
person, and the other, let's say, they had more problems with that. How would you rate your experience?
I had more disadvantage when I was a kid because I would look so different. And Japan is basically people like to be like other people. Like they want to be same. So it was hard in school, but as becoming an adult and starting to work, then I have a lot of advantages being mixed. Like now I do modeling because I guess because I look different. Like I have a feature, a different feature, and also I do counseling and I talk to mixed kids, and I can do this because of my experience. So, and also I think I talked a lot of negative stuff in school, but my brothers had a great time in school. I think they had a problem too, but they were happier than me because they had more advantage. And I think being a male or female also made a difference.
Interesting. So, in what way, like they were not treated like you were, like they were more acceptable being among guys? Is that what you want to say? Is like guys are more acceptable of differences than maybe girls crowd?
Yeah,
It could be,
I
right?
feel, yeah. I
Girls
feel
are
like,
mean, are more mean.
yeah, girls try to make a group, right? So they don't like anyone different.
Oh, I see.
But guys are like more simple. They run fast or they're smart and they can become a hero. So it
Right,
was,
right. Because if you're good at soccer or whatever, baseball,
yeah,
they don't care. It could be.
exactly.
Yes, that's true. And another funny thing you already mentioned to me, but I want to talk about is how even to this day, when you, let's say you have a date with somebody who's 100% Japanese, and they still kind of treat you like a bit different, even though they know you're Japanese.
I don't think they think I'm Japanese. I mean, maybe some people do, but they just see me as a mixed girl. And they would still ask me about like what language do you speak at home, or when did you come to Japan, or like, things like this. Like even I was born and brought up here. So even with a date, I feel like they don't treat me as a Japanese, and
The Japanese guys that you meet, and they have a different reaction for with compared to the foreigner guys that you meet in Japan. Is that so?
yeah, I see. Okay. Yeah, if that guy is someone like who lived abroad, it's very different. But if he was born and brought up only in Japan, then they would still treat me like other people treat me. Like I'm not Japanese.
Right. So the difference is how used they are to talk to somebody who's of a different race. Basically,
Yes.
that's
Yeah, I think
that's
that's the thing. Yeah.
that's the bottom line. That's incredibly interesting. I wanted to ask you also, we'll come into the last questions, but what would be the advices that you usually give in your speeches, but now that you would give now the people listening, in people who are mixed and they're growing up and they're maybe, I don't know, 10 years old or 6 years old, like your age. I don't think 6 years old will watch this, but anyway, what would be your advices, let's say, to deal with this double identity?
I always say to kids, when they become older, 100% the situation will be better. Because I felt that too after high school, people's attitudes change. That we still get a lot of microaggressions, like your Japanese is good, or can you eat Japanese food, or all these comments, like thousands of comments.
Can I interject here? Because Is that really, because you mentioned that a microaggression thing. Is it really hurt? I mean, does it annoy? Is it more annoying than hurting? How bad it is to hear a comment like that?
It hurts, yeah, it hurts. And I think like each comment is very small. It's not a big deal. They just say a lot of small things. But when you get this for like 20 years, 30 years, then every scars are very small, but it just gets deeper and deeper because you get thousands of times. It's just so many times. And because people always make a comment, I can't never forget that I look different or I'm mixed, I can't forget this fact because people keep telling me that I don't look like Japanese. So yeah, now I'm used to it, but yeah, it hurts.
And now, what is the effect of these comments now? Like that you accepted yourself, you accepted your identity, you're maybe even happy. I mean, somehow, like because you made let's say a good outcome out of this mixed background that you have.
Yeah, now I just take it as a joke, or I don't know if it's a good word or not, but I kind of gave up. Maybe I just don't try to expect too much to other people. And I know they're not trying to hurt me, so I just think, okay, well,
this is the best closing that we can have, because I think that's the best suggestions you could give to people that whatever problem they could have, like just let it wash away, because it's not going to matter, not even in 10 years time. It's not going to matter, the next day. It's sometimes people say things that don't mean, or even if they mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't have to be with those people anyway, your whole life, right? So it's interesting that became more mature. You accept yourself in the sense. It's because also you learn to disregard all these comments from people that don't matter really. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's so correct. And there's so many nice people in Japan, kind people in Japan too, so just stay with them. And there's people who accept you as you are. So I just tell the kids, stay with them, accept yourself. They will help you to accept yourself too. And in the end, just the kids might have a lot of minus, sad experiences or hard things, but just change all that to plus when you're adult, as a job or do something or help people. Just change everything to plus, then they would feel better.
That's great. That's a great, advice that you would give to these kids, because you give them something to hope for the future. I think that's the best they could get. Well, thank you so much, Selina, for talking to us. It's been really great pleasure, and I think you're contributing somewhat to a better society by just going to talk to people who have this same problems that you had. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.